So I love talking nutrition, and particularly with somebody really experienced. I'm really glad that my guest is motivated and passionate nutritionist Denise Kelly. And she has a book out very soon called The Art of Healthy Living. We're looking forward to that. And runs a business called Thrive. We're going to talk about all of that too. Denise, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. What a treat.
So tell us a little bit about your background then, and what led you to being so passionate about nutrition and everything that that means, because I'm sure we're going to get into quite a lot of topics.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a classic story, really. I was perfectly healthy. In fact, I write about this in my book. I had really blessed health all the way through my life up until my sort of 20s. And it was one of those, I didn't really think about health per se, but, sort of grew up with parents who grew their own vegetables. And, so it's kind of being taught to you without you realizing. And then when I was 27, I got married and I was pregnant with my first child. And after she was born, I got really, really sick almost immediately. And I had major digestive issues, which just meant, when you've got a newborn and you are wanting to give your all to your newborn baby and it's all very exciting. And I just couldn't eat anything. I felt so ill. My digestion completely was upside down. And because I didn't have the knowledge then, I just didn't know how to correct it. So I spent the best part of 2 years going to different consultants and having scopes up, down, it was really not a good experience. And I was losing weight at a massive rate, and which was quite alarming. So I looked like I was really ill, and I'm quite small anyway. I've got a small frame. There's not much to lose. And so I just looked horrendous, and my energy was on the floor. And then, of course, you get very emotional. And, I thought, is this because I've had a baby or what's going on? But actually, I was introduced, I think, after my third appointment with the consultant, and they were doing all that they could. But they couldn't find anything. So, in their eyes, there was nothing really that they could do medically. And I tried a few different medications and nothing was making any difference. So I was introduced to an amazing Ayurvedic practitioner, and she just sort of changed my thought pattern around food, literally in the space of about 3 minutes. And she said to me, Denise, if you follow what I'm asking you to do, you will never, ever feel like this again. So she made me an amazing diet plan, and it was really easy to follow. And within about 3 weeks, I started to gain weight. My energy started to come back. I just felt like I was getting my vigor back for life. And I just thought at that point, wow, there is something really amazing in this. And what I felt was, a little at the time, I don't now because I see the gift in it, but at the time I felt really cheated of 2 years of really ill health, which potentially could have been sorted within 3 weeks. So I think that was my inspiration to suddenly think, I don't want anybody else to go through this. This could have been sorted. This was easy. And then not only did I start to gain energy and good health again, I felt better than I'd ever felt. So, I started to feel better, my brain power, my sleep. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted to learn more, because I thought, okay, how do I learn to talk to my family about this? That's really how it started. I wanted to share this. I wanted to make sure that my children were healthy, because I was pregnant with my second child at this point. And I wanted to make sure my family stayed really nice and healthy. And I just saw the light, if you like, around nutrition. So that's when I went and started studying nutrition. And it was really from that moment on, I felt initially, probably like anyone, when you develop a passion for something, you learn it and then you want to just tell everybody what to do. I was a nightmare. So, I'd come home from, my training and kind of say to all my family, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you got to do this. And I was really sort of forceful, which of course doesn't work. And then I just decided to, just kind of calm down with it all, really. And gradually, I think after I sort of did my training, gradually I just started to organically see people and talk to different people. In the beginning, of course, it's all free and you're just sharing your knowledge. And then my passion and my love just turned into a business. And it was really, I don't know, it kind of happened without me really thinking about it too much. Because I think when you love something so much and when you want to share something so much, that just becomes natural. It becomes a natural part of your life. And I was lucky enough in my really early days to be asked to write a health column in a local paper to me. And I'm based in Chichester in West Sussex. And from the column, from the health column, that was really the beginning of me sort of taking this to the next level regards, seeing clients on a one-to-one in clinical environments in 3 different areas in the UK. And that sort of really sort of got me a lot of contacts, I think, and gained a lot more clients. And again, it was all meant to be. I think the whole journey from start to finish, as horrible as it was at times, definitely was all meant to be. So that's how it all began.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's already going to be people going to be thinking, well, hold on a minute. So she was like really quite ill for a couple of years and couldn't eat anything, or wasn't the right weight, was feeling terrible. One session with an Ayurvedic practitioner, and she's practically well again. So people are going to want to know absolutely immediately, what were you eating before or trying to eat, and what were you then eating that made all the difference? I totally appreciate there's going to be more to it than just a food, but just out of interest, what was the difference in the food? Because essentially, the food was your healer, at least to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. It was basically all to do with the enzymes in the gut, and the bacteria being completely out of balance, and giving warmth to the digestive system. So basically things like eating raw gingers, raw garlics, having lots of sort of heating foods within my regime, which I, again, didn't really know much about. And I was sort of introduced to having certain time limits between food. This was with the Ayurvedic practitioner, and I am not an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm a naturopathic nutritionist. So obviously the things that she took me through then are instrumental, but obviously the way I would work now, I completely understand what happened to me. And I think when you are pregnant and you give birth, your whole digestive enzymes, everything in your gut goes out of balance for some people. And also the thing that she taught me was about making sure that the liver was functioning correctly as well. So I was having really nice juices for the liver, just really gentle cleansing juices, just fresh lemon and water, celery juices. I was introducing lots of greens into my diet, which I did have, but I was having them more just in my food. And it wasn't that I was eating really badly. I definitely wasn't into processed food or anything like that, but it's just that the food I was having, it was all wrong. I was eating really late in the evenings. I was snacking because I was desperate at the time to put on calories. So at the time I was eating high fat food thinking, right, this is going to work. This is going to get me to put a little bit of weight on. So I was eating cake and I was eating, sort of chocolate bars thinking, okay, because one of the things that I was told from the consultant is just get as many calories in as you can. So of course you reach for the bad calories. And now, of course, I know that the bad calories, they were just making me worse because they were crushing the enzymes. They were, making my liver work treble as hard. And, it was just not a good process. So it was all about getting the enzyme activity with the sort of slightly rawer foods, but the warming foods, and having, really almost like baby food. So just a little bowl of rice with some really easily digestible foods like peas and, as I say, the ginger and the garlics, and just stimulating really, really slowly. And it was just amazing because I think even within sort of 3 or 4 days of eating this way and having the juices and having sort of being introduced to the warming foods, it took the pain away. And I was in a lot of pain. So every time I ate, I felt like I was doubled over. And that was making me even more stressed. So the stress of the pain was kind of making me feel like I didn't know what to eat. So I think the anxiety around the pain and the fact that it wasn't getting better was as instrumental as what I was eating. So as soon as somebody took that anxiety away by saying, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. And even somebody saying that, so even if it was psychological as well, that made all the difference to how I was feeling. So I guess the anxiety, reducing the anxiety, helped me to start absorbing the nutrients as well. And slowly but surely, you know, that all started to calm things down.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be people listening who just are amazed because they haven't really sort of ever made the proper connection of just how healing food can be, you know, just nutrition. So tell us kind of, you know, for anyone who is relatively new to some of this, just what are the kind of the pillars then for you, sort of the top line? I mean, you've already mentioned gut health and how important it is that we get that gut bacteria right. So just tell us what the sort of main pillars of nutrition are for you.
For me, I think what's really instrumental is the gut and the liver. So whenever anybody comes to see me, I talk a lot about spring cleaning your house. So whatever's going on with somebody, the most common thing, for example, can be people feeling very tired and exhausted. So this is all to do, for me, the way I would look at it is it's to do with the condition of your blood, and how kind of gloopy that is. So if we have got really good functioning liver and our lymphatic system is happy, then the gut is happier. So things like really simple things like how to conduct your day. So just changing the smallest things. You know, like a lot of people may wake up and they might have coffee, for example, and there's nothing wrong with coffee. There's lots of studies to say actually now that coffee is really helpful for Alzheimer's and, you know, mental health, and those kind of things. However, for me, it's when you have certain foods and drinks during your day. So waking up, when you sleep, you are fasting essentially. So your body is in growth and repair, and it's doing all sorts of lovely things overnight to make you feel better in the morning. So a lot of people say, oh, I've got a headache, I go to bed, and they wake up and it's gone. Well, that's because your body is working really hard at nighttime to put you back into balance. So when you wake, what you're having in the morning is really crucial, because you're breaking the fast and you're sending a message to your body of this is how you're setting your day. So having alkalizing substances, alkalizing foods, continues that cleansing process. So for example, when you wake up, so replacing your coffee or your tea, maybe with milking or whatever, I love in the morning just lemon juice with grated ginger, so fresh ginger. If you haven't got fresh ginger, you can just put a little bit of powdered ginger into your warm lemon juice, and then a dash of cayenne pepper. This might sound gross to some people, but the cayenne pepper helps to stimulate the enzyme activity in the liver. And this is what helps to get the gut working properly. And it starts to sort of this cleansing process for the blood and the whole body. And not only that, it helps also to kind of wake you up. So it gives you a little bit of a feeling like coffee, but it's not this massive spike. So it's not going to send you on this, I'm awake now, and then crashing down, 30 minutes later. So this is a great way to start the day. And then I really, really love either cleansing juices or cleansing smoothies. And there is a difference. A lot of people love juicing and they love smoothies, and some people kind of think it's a bit of a faff. But I do think, from my point of view, the clients that I've seen over the last 15 years, if they introduce one or the other or both, they see dramatic differences in their energy levels, the clarity of their mind, and just body balancing. So hormone balancing, better sleep, better digestion, all those things that are really essential to keep our energy super high. And when I say energy high, I just mean like really clear energy, so sustained energy throughout the day, so you don't have this slump in the middle of the afternoon. So with juicing for me is almost like a medicine. It takes very little digestion to absorb your juice. And when I say juice, I'm talking green juices. So things like kale, spinach, celery, lemons or limes. And you can chuck a little bit of fruit in there, of course. I love watermelon. Just adds a little bit of sugar, but not too much. And you've got this balance. When you add the greens, you're going to keep your body really alkalized. So The juice is amazing if you want to gain energy with very little digestion. So juice is great also if you're doing a detox. But if somebody wants a slightly quicker route, then I would say that smoothies are just as good. In fact, smoothies, there's different schools of thoughts again, but smoothies are amazing because smoothies keep the fiber in. And what I love about smoothies more than anything is that you can make a smoothie for 3 days. You can make a smoothie, like make a large batch. So if you haven't got time, you can make a large batch of green smoothie, and you can put it in an airtight container, put it in your fridge, and you can reach for it every single day. So again, it's going to be really useful for you if you are a busy person. You think, oh, I don't have time for that. And the other thing I love about a smoothie is that you can add superfoods, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. But so your basic ingredient for a smoothie is similar to the juice, but again, as I say, you're keeping the fiber in. So in a green smoothie, I would add one sort of element of green. So it can be, as I say, kale or spinach or chard, something like that. So this is going to add your chlorophyll. This is going to give you really good sort of level of cleansing and good amount of minerals and vitamins. Then I would add 2 sticks of celery. This is a natural sodium and a very good cleanser. And then I would add a lemon or lime. So peel your lemon or lime. Some people like to use, sort of have the whole thing, so with the skin as well, and that's fine. And then maybe a handful of berries. So we're looking at low glycemic, so low sugar fruit. So a handful of berries. They can be frozen because this is really easy. Just take a handful out the freezer, pop it into your smoothie, and then maybe a low glycemic fruit like an apple or a pear or something like that. If you are high intensity, so if you're going to do a workout, or if you know you've got a super busy day, you can add a couple of bananas, but these are higher glycemic. So, it's just how your day is, how busy you are, whether you're super active, but the lower glycemic fruits have less of a sugar spike. So then with your smoothie, the thing I love to add to it as a liquid is coconut water. Now, ideally, we would be living in the Bahamas or somewhere beautiful where we can just knock a coconut out the tree, and that is the best form of the electrolytes in the coconut juice. But most of us are not there. Some of us might be, but I'm in the UK, so I don't have that luxury. So just coconut water added to a smoothie adds really a good amount of electrolytes. And this, again, helps to give you a little bit of energy, a bit of brain power, wakes you up in the morning, and just gives you a really good sort of va-va-voom for the day. And then in your smoothie, just to take you to the next level, which I love, and I think, you can gain so much vitamins and minerals from foods, but adding powdered superfoods into your smoothie is incredibly powerful. And as I say, it takes you to the next level. So the basic superfoods that I absolutely love. So something like chlorella. Chlorella is a blue-green algae, and I love it in powder form rather than pill, because I think in powder you can control how much you have, and it just gives this, amazing amount of cleansing energy to your smoothie. So chlorella has a double value, if you like. So chlorella adds huge amount of mineral and vitamins into your smoothie. So just 1 teaspoon is all you need, just as a maintenance dose. But chlorella also acts as a little Pac-Man, as a little cleanser. So not only does it add minerals, it also takes away any toxins that you have in your body. So if anyone's a bit squeamish and doesn't like to talk about poo, you might want to turn off for this bit, but it can make your poo green. So don't be alarmed. This is just because in the beginning, your body may struggle to absorb, or it's sort of taking a lot of toxins out. So people look at this and think, oh, it's really alarming, but it really isn't. This is quite normal, and it will normalize over a few days of taking it. And everything will go back to normal. You might find it also makes your bowel movements a bit more often, but that's good because we need to shift things. I mean, the body is all about shifting and continuous movement and getting the bad stuff out and allowing the cells to absorb the good stuff, and that's when you get this kind of energy. So then the other superfood I would add just as a sort of maintenance to a smoothie is spirulina. Love spirulina because, again, it contains a lot of minerals and vitamins, and it's very high in B vitamins. And B vitamins is amazing for our energy. And this is why when people start taking spirulina, it's a very quick result, which I love, because when I have clients come to me and they're on the floor and their energy is really low, and often they're at their last sort of ebb where, maybe I'm the last port of call. They might have visited a few other people and consulted people first, but they come to a nutritionist because they think, okay, I've tried medication, or I've tried, and by the way, I'm never saying that medication, is bad. It saves lives. And I have people in the medical field in my family and close friends. And, there's a beautiful correlation between the medical field and the more holistic field. Absolutely. We are both needed, and there's room for everybody in this world. But sometimes health things are just more simple than we think. And introducing simple things like the smoothies and the superfoods can make all the difference. So spirulina, if somebody is feeling quite low in mood and quite down, maybe slightly depressed, spirulina is a really great pick-me-up, because it's a really good source of protein. And it's just a really good way of introducing B vitamins. And because these superfoods are recognized by the body as a food, they are really easily absorbed. So that's why you see quick results when you start taking superfoods. And the third superfood is baobab. Now, baobab is really high in vitamin C, and it's super good for your immune system. So it's going to add a lot of protection to our systems. And it's also really good for the skin. I know that a lot of beauty products are putting it into beauty companies are putting it in products. And it's because it just gives you this real glow. And again, people like to see and feel a difference when they're starting a health regime. It's really nice to see the results quite instantly. So that's my that's how I would start the day anyway.
You buy that in powdered form then, the baobab?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So again, a teaspoon of each is enough in a sort of a pint of smoothie. And I would also say with your smoothie, the good thing about smoothie is to maybe have it twice a day. So it's almost like an intravenous drip. So you're introducing this amazing amount of nutrients in the morning. And then you can, if you're still hungry after that, then, have a nice bit of sort of light breakfast. And then after you've had lunch, mid-afternoon, when a lot of people feel that real sort of dip in energy, that's when you could have your second smoothie. So, we're talking just a normal tumbler glass full in the morning and the same amount in the afternoon. And it really gives you that lift of energy, so that you're, not on your knees. Because I also think that the afternoon is when people reach for perhaps the naughty sugary snacks.
Yeah. Well, that was actually going to be my next question. Is certainly a lot of people that I work with, when they're ditching the booze, they find they get a absolute cravings for sugar, and just reach for the wrong things. So what would be apart from the smoothies, is there anything else that you would recommend for people who are finding they've just become they want to be careful about what they eat, but this craving for sugar is so strong, this sweet tooth?
Yeah. Whenever anybody has any cravings at all, it is always because they are nutrient deficient. So the more nutrients you can add to the body, which is why I love smoothies so much, the less you are likely to reach for something that you are craving for example. And the more sugar you have, the more you want. So, it's breaking that cycle. And when you have things, so for example, celery juice or chlorella, they give you so much of the goodness, and they really stimulate the liver. And it's going back to the same thing with the liver, that your body stops to crave these sugary kind of snacks. And the other thing as well is to always be prepared. So regards food, you want things that are going to really satisfy you, so really fill you up. So having like quinoa, for example, or brown rice, so having your whole grains in lunch and your evening meal, if you're having, say, a small cupful of grains, so your quinoa, your brown rices, with a little bit of sweet potato and some good sort of protein in the form of beans. So something really simple like kidney beans, cannelloni beans, you know, they give you sustained energy and they fill you up so much that you don't have those cravings in the same way that you would if you're not having it. And as I say, cravings are just because there's a lack. So if you're making sure that each meal, so ideally what I suggest for people to do is to make something that you can just take out the fridge so that you're not having to get to that point where you're hungry. Or if you're going to work, then you're taking it with you to work so that you can just, you know, get it whenever you're hungry. And because this is so filling, so say you're making, I don't know, a Tupperware bowl, or you've got a big bowl of say rice and beans, and then you've got your greens in there as well. So you could make a salad fresh if you want to every day and just add it to this mix. So you already cook up your rice, you already cook up your beans, and then you add either your vegetables or your salad to this mix so that you are having that freshness. And just soak it with good fats as well. So olive oil, or, you know, another good omega. Udo's Choice is a really good omega because it's a balance of omega-3 and 6. And you can just add this with a bit of lime juice, some fresh ginger, some fresh garlic, or even fresh chili if you like a bit of spice. And this it's so nutrient rich and it's so uncomplicated that this will take away your cravings and it will just give you that sustained energy, which is why I was saying about having the smoothie again in the middle of the afternoon. Because if you think about that across your day, there is nothing bad going into your body, and it's very unlikely that after about 4 days eating this way that your taste buds completely start to change. So it's very unlikely that you're going to be craving perhaps the chocolate that you were a few days before. And if you are, then make something that is going to, you know, if you think, okay, I just want a little bit of a treat or whatever, then you can make something with cacao, or you can add cacao nibs, which is little chocolate bites, into, say, protein balls, which you can make with measured dates. You can make lots of raw puddings, for example, with avocado and dates, and adding cacao into that. But you can, you know, these things you may not want so much of. So even if you've got as a snack, you know, some dates or some raisins, some nuts. Or the other thing that I love and that I really suggest people to snack on, because it does give you that sweet fix, but it's also really hydrating, is watermelon. Watermelon, pink grapefruits, you know, these are really satisfying snacks, because if it is that sweet fix that you want, then having these readily available and taking them straight out the fridge is just a really nice way of snacking, particularly now, you know, we're coming into the warmer season. So we, you know, our bodies crave these things and we need more hydration. And it's just a really good way of getting that quick sort of fix. But as I say, if you're making sure that you're having these really wholesome meals, so lunch and evening meal, then your cravings really start to diminish massively. And also hydration. Plenty of hydration during the day takes away cravings as well. And a really good tip, so if you get a jug of water, I love to just add, so into your water, again, it just helps to keep you really alkalized. So adding 1 whole lime into that and squeezing the juice, as well as sort of chopping bits of the lime and putting it in. Chopping up some cucumber, again, really hydrating and offers really good minerals and vitamins. And even if you want to put some fruit in there as well for a little bit of a sweet fix, so some fresh orange, or maybe some strawberries, and it just diffuses as the day goes on. But a little added tip to help to cleanse the liver, which again stops the craving and adds minerals, is 1/4 teaspoon of chlorella. So when you add the chlorella to the water, it just turns it a really light green color. And 1/4 teaspoon of charcoal, so powdered charcoal. Charcoal has many different uses, but adding charcoal to your water, again, helps to clean the blood, helps to clean the toxins from the blood. And when the toxins start to be cleaned out of the body, like the spring clean I was talking about earlier, you know, if you're spring cleaning your house, the first thing you do when you're spring cleaning, you're getting all the dust coming up, is you open all your windows and doors to let it all out. And you've got to have the same sort of feeling with your body. So you've got to have routes of elimination, and the liver is the part of the body that helps you to detox the body. There are other routes of elimination too. So exercise, for example, when you sweat, you're eliminating your toxins. So exercise is a massively important role in getting yourself really energized. But also with going back to the charcoal in the water, it helps to eliminate toxins from the body, which again stops the cravings and helps to reduce the cravings. And it just increases your energy. So naturally you are less inclined to go for things that don't serve you. So I had a client the other day, and she's sort of started this cleansing regime, and she said she's a massive crisp lover. She loves crisps, and has a little snack in the evening. And she just said she kind of got them out of habit, but just didn't, after one crisp, just didn't enjoy it. So it really changes your palate and changes what your body needs.
Great. So tell us a bit about your Thrive training that you offer.
Okay, so Thrive came about. I do a lot of seminars and talks all over the world, and I was delivering a seminar in New York. It was, a year and a half ago now, and I was talking about my business. So within my business, I use a testing device called a Quest 4, and it's an energetic tester. And it's completely incredible, and it shows up all sorts of blockages in the body and imbalances. And the reason I got it in the first place within my practice, so I've had clinical practice for over 15 years, and I was working a lot with corporate men. So I go into a lot of corporate companies, and perhaps the MD or whatever is sending all these people to me and saying, right, you need a health check with Denise, and maybe they don't want to be there. So I wanted to something rather than, just a consultation where I'm sort of asking how they are. I wanted something that they could look at on the screen in front of them to say, right, this is how your body is functioning. And often, in those circumstances, they would say, oh, I'm absolutely fine. I'm really healthy and everything's great. And so we'd put them on this machine, and then it would show up imbalances. And I would say to them, have you been suffering, for example, have you been feeling like you've been getting some palpitations, or, and they said, actually, yes, I have. So it's a way of starting a lot of good communication. And once somebody knows that they've said to you, they're feeling good, and then you see that there are things going on in their body which need to be corrected, it just is a really way of engaging with people. So I was at this conference, and I was delivering this seminar, and I was talking about this machine, and then I did a demo with a machine, and there was a couple of people in the audience that were kind of blown away by the results that we were getting from this machine. So he came up to me and he said, okay, Denise, I'd really like to franchise you. And I said, okay, right, let's see where we go with this. So we spent the next sort of year planning this business, and the business is called Thrive. And the weekend of lockdown, that was meant to be the weekend that we were launching in the States, and we couldn't fly anywhere. So what at the moment, we are working with lots of people on social media, and we're thinking, outside the box. But what it's done, it's really been an amazing way of engaging with people. So the whole theory behind the business is, when I first got this device, which is an amazing piece of kit, it's taken me years to really perfect it and to really understand it and to really deal with clients and get really good results very, very quickly. So the Thrive package is basically not only teaching people how to use the machine, it's teaching people about nutrition, it's teaching people about the ways that I have worked with my clients that have got really super quick results. And it's teaching people how to, because a lot of, I struggled with this as well. So being a very creative person, and this isn't me generalizing, but sometimes this can be the way. People who are very creative and they want to help people, they are very good at what they do, but it's getting the business out there, and it's actually earning money from your business as well, because we are all within our rights to do that, because we're offering a service and we're really helping people to feel well, and that's such an important part of society. So what we do within Thrive is we also teach people how to conduct their business, how to give a really good service, how to make people really well, and how to make money quickly from what you are doing so your business can get up and running within the first 6 months, we are seeing really good results. And in my experience, I don't have enough time in the week to see my clients. There is a massive waiting list, and what I want to do is to create lots of people out there on the ground doing exactly what I do with a formula that we know works really well, and having a really lovely health and well-being business that is their own, but we are helping to create that from the ground, from the ground running, so that they don't have to spend years sort of trying to find out the best ways to have a successful business. And with this in mind, this means that a lot more people can get seen, a lot more people can be well, a lot more people can be educated around health and well-being. And we are adding more and more things all the time to our Thrive website. Just really simple things about, how to make nut milk, how to make a great smoothie, how to, things that to some of us this is normal everyday life, but to some people this is new. And, we want to be helping everybody to feel really well and healthy. So it's a massive movement that is only just beginning. And I'm really super excited about it.
Amazing. Give us the website then, and also your website, so we can find more info about your work as well.
So the Thrive website is www.lifeisforthriving.com, and my website is www.denisekelly.co.uk. And if anybody has any questions about what I do, or the business, or anything to do with health, please do not hesitate to contact me, because I always try and answer every single email or phone call that I get. At some point, it might be a few weeks wait, but I always try and get back to you, and happy to help wherever I can.
Excellent. Denise, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.